Hi everybody, my name is Lucas Fellows and this is my CAS Project video as part of the demonstration aspect of the CAS Project. So first off, um, why did I choose this activity for my project? My partners and I, we both are all we're very passionate about tutoring and education, as all of us are honor students, and we've all worked in CSF as tutors before in our local high school's tutoring program. And I personally work as a private tutor for a local tutoring company called Comprehensive College Prep. So we all have a lot of experience within tutoring, and we kind of wanted to take this a step further and offer our services for free, um, and to the people that might not be able to come to our tutorials, or who might go to a different school and are just um, need help with their classwork, because we know that high school is definitely a challenging time for many students. It's been challenging for myself in many areas, and I've appreciated the help of tutors along the way. So we kind of want to be that resource for students that want to come in and use us for our talents. Um, and so we've collaborated with multiple students, and also people within the library, the workers, the librarians, along along the way, which I'll explain later. But I want to talk about which strands of CAS that this project kind of fulfilled. So, creativity, activity, and service. This was more focused on the service side. Um, yeah, mostly the service side, for sure. And so we saw the need for this activity, kind of thinking about different aspects and different issues that are we could, I guess, tackle within our CAS project, looking at different things like the environment, sustainability, education, and then we kind of figured, hey, all of us are pretty experienced within the tutoring field. Why don't we take our services to the next step? So that's kind of like our thought process. We had a Google Doc open, and all of us contributed different ideas and then kind of bounced things off of each other, and then finally decided that the most plausible and I guess the most beneficial um, plan of action would be to tutor at the Mission Viejo Library for free to students that might need help. So we divided the roles and responsibilities pretty evenly. Uh, we at first we thought that Nick Asas, one of the group people in the group, would kind of take the communication role and kind of set everything up, and then me and Preston would kind of I guess act more as the tutors, whereas Nick would do less tutoring and then more kind of the logistics behind it. But it kind of just fit that it was easier for all of us just to work together, and I guess work as a common unit to talk to the librarians and also just set everything up. And then within our own students, we kind of set it up individually. It just kind of worked out that way easy. It worked out easier that way to kind of uh, collaborate in the way that we talk to each other, and then kind of organized it around the students, but also just kind of took care of business, I guess, individually in that aspect, where because it is one-on-one tutoring, so we'd have to it was just easier to set it up with the students that way. um, and so basically I guess I'll go over the plan of action as a whole. So um, first started out with the Google Doc, kind of creating the idea of, hey, let's do free tutoring at the Mission Viejo Library, and then that kind of more we kind of our second idea was to create a flyer for the tutoring, and at first we thought we could just go into the library and I guess start putting out these flyers in the public space, because it's a publicly owned building, and we thought that we could just put flyers all over the place and then um, show up to where one of the conference rooms, and then kind of like have people flood in. But we wanted to ask the library first to see if this was like plausible, and so the library ended up saying that in order to hang up signs, you had to get approval from the city. So that idea didn't really work. We couldn't really just go in and then um, hang up signs and then just informally and just super casually just show up. What we had to do was, or what the librarians want us to do, was get it approved by the city, and then um, in this way that they could make a flyer and then have the tutoring thing on the flyer. But since this CAS project was only supposed to last a month and they wanted it to last 6 months, we just decided to, um, I guess, promote it throughout social media, through Snapchat and Instagram, and then texting people that might need help, and also word of mouth. And so then that way, we didn't really hang up flyers out or around the library. We used the flyer that we created to, we just posted it outside the door once we were inside the conference room, and then that was just more of a way of like identifying, and then also if like people were looking in, seeing what we were doing, they could see, oh, this is free tutoring, and then they could come talk to us if they wanted. So that was kind of our plan of action to set everything up. Then we kind of we used technology and other resources like that, talking to people to, I guess, set up meetings, and then um, from there it was kind of pretty self-sufficient. We kind of just showed up to the library at the times that we said that we would, and then we'd knock out the tutoring, we'd help the students out, and then throughout the process of tutoring, if anybody, all of us showed up at the same time for the most part, and all three of us were there, even though it was like a session 1v1 with the students. Say like I was stuck on a problem, which didn't really happen, but say for example, one of us was stuck on a problem, we were helping with a student, the other two guys in the room, Preston or Nick, could help me out if I needed any help. Again, this didn't really happen. I don't think it happened at all for me, but it was just an added two resources in case I ever needed help. We had, I guess our biggest failure was talking to the library at the beginning, when we wanted to kind of just come in with our flyer and our signs and then promote it that way. Because it would just be a lot easier. People walk in, they see a sign, oh, free tutoring, let's go check that out. But we couldn't really, that wasn't really, the library was legally not allowed, I guess, not allowed to legally let us do that, because there's a lot of protocol that we'd have to go through. So that was kind of our biggest failure in a sense, but we were able to overcome that and promote it in separate ways that worked out just as fine, if not better. So if it wasn't for that failure, in a sense, we might not have had as many students through the social media aspect of promoting it, which we didn't even think about at first, but we're kind of glad that it happened, so, because we got a lot of students that way. And our biggest success, I'd say, as a result of that failure, would be the promoting through social media and getting a lot of students that were on Instagram and Snapchat that could have come in if they needed help. So I guess things went better and better than anticipated in that sense, where we got a lot of students that we didn't expect to come in, and helped them out all the same. It was a good time, and I think everybody learned a lot throughout the process. Since I tutor students a lot, I have a couple students every week. I'm kind of used to the moments, like them learning and seeing like, oh, this progress is being made. And I'm glad that Nick and Preston could also kind of see that what they're doing is really helping a lot. And yeah. So how did you and your collaborators adjust to obstacles? Again, the biggest obstacle was not allow like the library preventing us from doing what we really wanted to do, which was this advertising, and so social media again was the solution to that problem. And yeah, so that kind of wraps up my CAS demonstration project. Overall, I had a lot of fun, and I learned a lot throughout this entire experience of doing this project with both Nick and Preston. Me and Preston and Nick were friends before, and I think that we've gotten even closer as a result of this experience, because there aren't a lot of in-depth academic opportunities to where you're spending a lot of time outside of school working toward this common goal, besides group projects. But even then, this is a continuous activity all throughout the month. So definitely more time spent on an academic pursuit than I think I have throughout my entire life. And so I'm super thankful for this opportunity, and I'm glad that I was able to do it with two of my closest friends. Um, and I'm also super glad and super, I guess, proud of the impact that I had on some of the students' lives and their academic careers, because coming from a student that as a freshman and a sophomore was kind of lost in some of my classes, didn't really know what I was doing, and then having a helping hand and older influence kind of guide me in the right direction and maybe explain a concept that I wasn't really getting. Kind of be able to step into those shoes of the person that helped me is definitely a super rewarding experience. And um, honestly, to contribute to the knowledge of somebody else and contribute to that learning experience, I feel like it's I feel like it's super valuable, and can't really put a price on it. So overall, super thankful, um, super what am I trying to say? Very thankful and very appreciative. And yeah, this concludes my CAS project video. I hope you enjoyed.